Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the anxiety therapist, and today I'm going to be discussing another cognitive distortion called catastrophizing. If you missed the video last week, cognitive distortions are basically thinking errors. The word cognitive pertains to thinking, and then if something is distorted, then there's an error, right? So we all have thinking errors sometimes. Maybe we misinterpreted something someone said, but they become problematic when they are more habitual and pervasive. And usually they show up as sort of they serve a purpose or a function in our lives, but then at some point we realize that they're starting to do more harm than good. They're no longer protecting us from whatever emotions we feel we need protection from. And so often in adulthood, these thinking errors have become so automatic that we don't even realize when we're doing them. But what happens is they cause us to interpret events in a negative way, and they create thought patterns that cause us to view reality in a very inaccurate or irrational way. So we want to make sure that we develop an awareness of when we have these cognitive distortions so that we can start changing those thought patterns and rewiring our brains. And the problem is, if these cognitive distortions do become automatic and are constantly reinforced, they do lead to things like anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. So today I want to focus on catastrophizing, and this can also be thought of as like expecting the worst case scenario. So this is super common, and it often comes with a lot of anticipatory anxiety about an upcoming situation or event that maybe we're feeling a bit anxious about. And an example would be, let's say your spouse usually gets home from work at 6, and so he's 10 minutes late. You give him a call, he doesn't answer his phone, and then immediately your mind goes to, oh my gosh, he got into a car accident, his car flipped over, he's in a ditch, he's dead, I need to start calling hospitals. And you kind of spiral out expecting this absolute worst case scenario. So what we want to do in a situation like that is look at two factors. We want to look at probability that that's actually what happened, and then how catastrophic is it. So in this case, it's pretty catastrophic, right? It would be a life and death situation. However, what is the probability that that is actually what happened? Do you have any evidence that that's what happened, or is this just something that your mind is sort of making up? So we want to look for alternative explanations. Maybe he got stuck in heavy traffic because there's always construction. Maybe he got tied up on a work call and couldn't get out of the office at a particular time. So we want to look for other plausible explanations for a situation before jumping to the worst case scenario. And then we can sort of bring down that anxiety, which allows us to think a lot more rationally and logically. But if we're in this really heightened anxious state, thinking that our partner is dead on the side of the road, we're not able to access that logical and rational part of our brain. So just pay attention going forward to see if catastrophizing shows up in your thought processes at all. And if it does, then you can ask yourself, what's the likelihood or the probability that this thing will actually happen, and then how catastrophic is it really? And 99.999% of the time, it will be, the odds will be very low, and it will not be sort of a life and death, world ending type situation. So I hope this is helpful. Join me next week for another cognitive distortion, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care.